All of us die-hard Eurovision fans know you can never start preparing for Eurovision too soon. The announcement of next year's host city has already been made, and with that we can start to think ahead to travelling to next year's host city and making plans for where we will stay. However, this year many of us will not be staying in Malmö. In fact, many of us will not even be staying in Sweden at all, but rather the neighbouring nation of Denmark. That's right, Eurovision 2024 will benefit two countries. The 7-kilometre Öresund Bridge will link hordes of us excited Eurovision fans with the host city of Malmö, and in doing so, maybe the first time in a long time where the vast majority of Eurovision fans have been staying in a country that is not hosting the competition. Copenhagen is a very vibrant city and is of course the capital of Denmark. With a population of about 1.5 million, Copenhagen is a thriving metropolis that is often ranked high on many quality of living indexes. In recent times, Copenhagen has prioritised cycling and walking spaces, meaning that us Eurovision fans will have plenty of sustainable ways to get around. Rosenborg Castle and Nijholm waterfront are two particular highlights in the city. And for the Eurovision historians among us, how about a trip to the park and, maybe not, or B&W Holland, the sites of the 2001 and 2014 Eurovision Song Contests. Eurovision fans may even decide to take a trip to the Copenhagen Opera House, made famous earlier this year as a result of Reddy's postcard. The Nijholm waterfront also put in an appearance. I think it's great that two nations will benefit from Sweden's win. Eurovision is, as we all know, a powerful economic shot in the arm for any city, and if this influx of wealth can be shared out to more nations, then why not? The Öresund Bridge can be crossed by either road or rail, and trains run at all hours of the day and night, which is a relief for us fans, as when we leave the Euroclub at 4 in the morning, not me, maybe, possibly, definitely, the last thing we want to do, and me and Eurovision 365 want to do, is worry about getting back to our hotels. I think it will be interesting and exciting to engage in two, albeit very similar cultures during the same Eurovision trip, and I will also be excited to see what Denmark put forward this year as an entry. The last time that Denmark came to Malmö to compete, it worked out pretty well for them, landing the win with Emmeline de Forest. There isn't always magic in Malmö though, with Lotte and Kenny managing a 12th place finish back in 1992, and during the last Swedish hosted Eurovision in 2016, Lighthouse X failed to make it to the final of course. I think however, Malmö 2024 should turn around Denmark's recent run of poor form. With acts like The Show and Ready failing to make waves, and with Fear og Flam just missing out on a qualification spot in 2021, Denmark haven't been seen in the final since 2019. Speaking of which, I have a video coming very soon about who to watch out for next year, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I think it's interesting that we are returning to the Scandinavian region for the first time in a while. Despite what people might say, it has been 8 long years since we were all last in the region for Eurovision, and I can't wait to explore everything that Sweden and Denmark have to offer. Eurovision 365 has never been to Denmark before, so if we can expand our European cultural education during a Eurovision trip, then why not? What are you most excited about in relation to travelling to Sweden, or indeed Denmark? Have you managed to get accommodation in Malmö or Sweden? Let me know all your thoughts about Destination Copenhagen in 2024. I look forward as always to reading those comments, but until next time, you take care and I'll see you very soon.